Arcus is informed about the monster ants, so he hurriedly starts preparing to go help them. Meanwhile, Javier hurriedly slashes through the ants and asks Lloyd how much further they need to go in. Lloyd orders him to not talk to him right now since he's really busy here. He distressingly remarks that he needs to find the methane gas layer somewhere in the underground. He believes that he can blow these ants away along a large area if he can find the methane layer. He suddenly spots it and starts digging into the ground, urging Javier to keep the ants away. As he's rapidly digging, the queen ant suddenly appears in front of them. Javier admits he can't handle it alone, saying there are some things he knows he can't do even without trying it. However, he admits he can't keep trying this and smacks the ant away. Once Lloyd is done digging, he hurriedly tells Javier to start running. They start going up the narrow passageway they came up earlier and throws the burning torch towards the methane layer, instantly blowing the ants up. Arcus tries to rush into the cave upon hearing the explosion, while Lloyd sees that the plan seems to have succeeded. He sees that Javier fell unconscious while trying to protect him and realizes the entrance to the cave has been blocked. He desperately starts digging to create an opening for oxygen and quickly orders the system to search for knowledge that can develop skills. Lloyd quickly acquires the Azarhan core technique and his mana application goes up to 120%. He remarks that with human skills, even if you work hard, development is uncertain, but he has RP and can increase the level in no time. He decides to bet everything here and raises the technique to level 6. After raising his level as much as he can, Lloyd manages to reach Double Circle and wildly uses Energizer to start digging through the cave entrance. He sees the end and is about to break through, but he suddenly collapses as the oxygen level threatens to end. Lloyd instantly uses Power Outburst and tries to dig a hole open. However, he suddenly collapses and wearily remarks that he only wanted to live a relaxed life as the son of a noble in a remote area. Podong suddenly breaks through, opening a hole, seeing which Lloyd happily jumps with joy. Arcus and his group slowly walk through the cave and he hurries to Lloyd, who wearily walks towards them while carrying Javier on his back. Later, the entire village starts praising Lloyd for what he did in the tunnel. He slowly wakes up and sees that he's received 500 RP for his bravery. As the road is being built into the cave, the workers happily greet Lloyd, believing he's different from the other nobles since he fought for their lives. Lloyd remarks that he has to identify even the smallest risk factor and avoid it, even though it looks like there's nothing wrong. Javier tells Lloyd he should leave this dangerous work to the others, but he insists that he has to be the one to do this so that he doesn't have to spend too much money. They find an orc tied up inside, and Lloyd decides to take him back. Later, the orc introduces himself as Hirochi and offers to give them whatever they want for saving his life, so Lloyd cheekily orders him to gather 120 orcs to help them work in the mine. Hiroshi initially declines, but he agrees when Lloyd assures him that he's a warrior since they defeated the monster ant together. They go to meet the leader of the orc tribe, Akuch, but he declines since orcs need to go out hunting every day to get meat for themselves. Surprised, Lloyd asks if he will lend him the workers as long as there's a way to stop meat from going bad after a few days. When they arrive at the village, Lloyd saw how Hirochi and Akuch embraced each other and remarks that if they get 120 workers like them, their productivity will increase hundreds of times. Lloyd was also shocked by how they were celebrating by working out with gold treasures. Presently, he says that's why he signed an order contract with the tribe leader to get both the workers and the treasures. Javier says they will make a stone cold storage and receive expensive things in return. However, it will require substitute equipment that can be processed with stone. Lloyd explains that they need a particular kind of stone called granite to make this storage, but it's pretty hard to find. He remarks that they don't have any dynamite, but Javier is enough. He remembers what Javier did in the novel later on and advises him to do it now, so he reluctantly tries it and manages to create an explosion on his first try. Later, while the orcs and humans start working, Javier and Lloyd go to find the workers they sent to get some insulation materials, since they haven't returned yet. However, upon arriving in a canyon, Javier points out that the mana here seems to be unstable, so Lloyd alarmingly says they should get going since the workers might already be dead. Lloyd and Javier arrive at Ruffalin's dungeon and start heading in, but Lloyd hurriedly tells Javier to be aware of the traps set up inside and teaches him how to detect them. Inside, Ruffalin suddenly detects that the traps have been activated and wonders if someone has come here to get the men he recently kidnapped. He drags one of the men over to a magic circle and is about to do something to him, but Lloyd and Javier suddenly arrive. Shocked at how quickly they were able to reach him, Ruffalin constructs a huge wall between them, but Lloyd swiftly digs beneath it and surfaces inside with the help of Javier's blast. Shocked, Ruffalin hurriedly summons the strongest monster he's ever created, seeing which Lloyd is about to tell Javier to be careful. However, Javier effortlessly slashes through it, using his blast as a driving force, shocking Lloyd, who doesn't recall anything like this being present in the novel. Lloyd asks Ruffalin how he's going to make this up to him since he kidnapped his workers and stalled their construction for so long. Ruffalin desperately asks to be forgiven and offers to give him all the valuable magic items he has. He reveals that he was going to experiment on how to bring back the dead to life so that he could resurrect his dead wife and child. He starts to tell him about how his family was broken by a lord, but Lloyd annoyingly stops him and asks if he thinks his wife and child are going to happily thank him when they realize he sacrificed hundreds of lives just to bring them back, and reminds him of the families he destroyed through his experiments. Lloyd starts leaving and agrees to forgive him. He recalls how even though Javier forgave Ruffalin in the novel, Ruffalin continued with his wicked experiments and killed even more. Presently, Ruffalin is about to attack him from behind, but Lloyd instantly turns around and Javier slices Ruffalin's head off. Lloyd remembers what happened with him in his past life when he tried to hold in the anger he had towards a bully. However, when he finally let it all out and beat the bully up, his problem was actually solved. He says he believes that villains should receive punishments befitting the crimes they committed. As they are heading back, Lloyd sees how tired the workers who were kidnapped by Ruffalin seem to be and carries all their backpacks, shocking them. Later, he tells Haruki that the stone-cold storage has been finished. Haruki points out that this isn't really that much colder than the outside, so Lloyd says that's because they haven't put any ice here yet and assures him they'll make it work. Unconvinced, Haruki worryingly leaves, after which Javier shockingly learns that Lloyd actually doesn't have an idea of how to create ice here. However, Lloyd declares that they have to innovate through this problem and that this is what an entrepreneur's mindset is. Later, he sits outside, thinking of something, and finally has an idea. Lloyd gets a huge tub of water in the storage and starts trying to suck out all the hot mana particles from inside the water to only leave the cold particles, and using the Azure hand mine technique. Sometime later, the orcs are shocked by how much ice Lloyd was able to create in the storage and happily realize that their meat won't go bad now, as Lloyd cheekily reminds Javier of his entrepreneurial mindset. As Lloyd and Javier are about to return to their estate with the 120 orc workers, Akuch thanks Lloyd for what he did for them and declares that their tribe is now in an alliance with the Frontera estate, so Lloyd happily says the same goes for them. When they return, the townspeople watch in shock because of their predetermined notions about the orcs, but they happily start praising Lloyd for his courage once they learn what the orcs are here for. Later, Lloyd looks through Ruffalin's magic items and finds a spell that can raise the dead, so he rushes to the cave to find Thorn and happily informs him that he can actually work for 520 years now since they got this spell. Later, Lloyd hears that the two loan sharks are in a meeting with Arcus and barges into the room. He sees that the sharks do have a permit this time, but suggests that they will pay back their loans little by little and decrease the interest. When the sharks decline, Haruki menacingly enters the room and declares that he will hurt anyone who hurts Lloyd, seeing which the men hurriedly agree to Lloyd's terms and run away. Once they've left, Lloyd assures Arcus that they'll be able to pay this back quickly since the work on the cave is moving along smoothly, and informs him that they need to do something about the orcs since they eat 10 times more than the average human, shocking him. The orcs are really productive workers who don't require sleep, work faster than humans, and don't even ask for wages. However, Lloyd tells Arcus they need to raise the taxes so that they can feed the orcs, since the work is going to go to the road and money won't be wasted. Lloyd proposes that they can give the wastelands to the people to set up a farm, of which will pay them a lot of money in taxes. Arcus agrees, so Lloyd goes to the wastelands to set up a proper draining system and is finally able to come up with one after over 21 days. Once he's done, he gets ready to summon as many beasts as he can, since Podong and Bell won't be able to clear out the water alone, but a small hippo appears the first time that isn't able to grow into huge sizes, so Lloyd wonders if he failed this time. Lloyd gets ready to draw another beast, but Podong and Bell start protesting, so he agrees to see Hippo's abilities first. Hippo says it can drink water double the size of its stomach and effortlessly drains the entire pond, shocking Lloyd. He realizes they can get this done a lot faster and hurriedly gets the workers started. Sometime later, Javier sees that the wastelands have truly turned into a field, and Lloyd says they still need to build a water wheel to avoid the wetlands getting submerged. A group of men on horseback suddenly arrive and order Lloyd to leave this land right now because it belongs to Viscount Racona, a lord situated to the north of Mara's wetlands. If you're enjoying Lloyd's wacky adventures, make sure to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.